Hello, everybody. Rabbit here, and welcome back to the Otaku Overload episode 24. This week is an interesting one because, well, I don't know how to say it, guys, but jail time changes a man.
Damn.
Yeah. I guess we'll start there. I know it's really interesting, but I really just want to get this out of the way, and then we'll continue as normal. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting week for me. Basically, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it to this podcast because some stuff happened. uh the cool way guy to say it is that I basically got arrested for trying to, transport drugs across the border of Mexico. That's the cool way guy of saying it. But no, the real thing that actually happened though, like the actual truth, that's like, if I wanted to impress people, I could say their story. But the way that what actually happened, it was so lame. I I'm kind of a bigger guy, I've never really talked about it, but I could stand to lose some pounds. And my mom, she says that she knows this like nutritionist, I guess you would call it, in Mexico. Like this lady that she hadn't seen in a while, but she's like a nutritionist, and she kind of teaches you how to eat, and she prescribes some medication to help if you have stuff like diabetes, stuff like that. And so basically, I agreed, like, okay, I'll take a trip with my parents to Mexico to visit this nutritionist. And it took us like the whole day because the lady has a bunch of meetings because she's that good. We're supposed to see her at like 1. We ended up not even seeing her until like 3 or 4. It took forever.
Damn.
And after seeing her, and she had some really helpful tips about like how to eat better, and she gave me some diagnosis of some stuff, and she prescribed some like weight loss pills and stuff. And everything seemed like it was gonna be fine from there on out. It was a tiring day, but we're crossing the border to head home. And the guard, or the whatever you call them, the
Border
immigration,
Patrol.
yeah, border patrol, he like looks at our stuff, and he's like, if we have anything to declare. And so, of course we told him, oh, we were here to see like the doctor, and she gave us these prescriptions, and we like let him see the prescriptions and like the pills and stuff. And he looks at the box of the pills, and he's like, yeah, you guys can't like cross these over.
Bruh.
And he's like, I'm gonna have to like ask you to like go to like further inspection. And we go to further inspection, and the guy's looking at the pills, and he's like, yeah, these are like illegal. You can't cross them into the US because of like some of the ingredients or whatever. And so he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to like further like look at your car and see what my supervisor says about these, and like blah blah blah. And so I was like detained literally in Mexico in a holding cell for a while.
Wow. That's like some Breaking Bad sort of situation right there.
I mean, except like last badass, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we, in the holding cell for a while, and the guy's like, okay, you're not allowed to take these into the United States, like we said, but everything else is clear. So one of you has to like cross the border, trash these or get a refund, whatever. It's up to you. Just can't bring them back. And after that, you can like you can go about your business. So they made my mom and me basically there's like a McDonald's like 100 feet from like the border right there. You guys can go wait for like my dad. You guys can go wait for him at the McDonald's. We'll let you cross, but he has to go like trash these or whatever. And so we went to the McDonald's and we waited. And yeah, he said, I'm not gonna go get a refund because like by car it would take like an hour to go to the pharmacies and try to figure it out and come back and whatever. So he ended up just trashing all the medicine and stuff. But it just ended up being like a waste of time. We went, got prescribed all that stuff, spent money on it, and we couldn't even cross it. It was so lame.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate event.
I know. I mean, the only like positive thing is at least it's kind of funny to tell a story of like it's not technically a lie. They're like, yeah, this one time I was trying to pass some drugs, through the border. I got in trouble, got detained.
It's like, damn.
So I mean, that technically happened, but of course it didn't happen the way you'd imagine. But it's just kind of funny that like, oh my god. But yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna make it to the podcast because that took a whole day, and then just having to get back home and stuff, and it was like a whole mess.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. You turned into Heisenberg for like a few
Heisenberg.
seconds.
Yeah.
Heisenberg for a few seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny too because when I they made us throw away the pills and all that, I'm like, I should just hit him up my butt. I should just like some of
Yeah,
them on my butt.
that honestly sounds like a great plan, actually. I was thinking, I'm like, by this point, you guys don't even need to like tell them. Just like stick them up your butt and just call it a day.
I know, I should have. Yeah, maybe next time. We'll see.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just want to get off my chest because it's an interesting story. I mean, hopefully people who are listening probably maybe it gives them a laugh, maybe it makes them go like, "What the heck?" You know, I don't know. We'll see how people react if they hear this. But prison changes a man. Ever since I was, I did jail time. I'm just not the same anymore.
yeah.
But for us though, getting into the actual podcast now. Yeah, we have a few things that we watched, a few stories to talk about. I'm really excited about the topic of the week. When I was talking about prison and jail, I kind of thought, oh, I should talk about this week because it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it might be a short podcast, we'll see. But I'm pretty excited because there's especially I think the second thing, the one that overlaps between you and me. I'm especially excited to talk about that one. Though we'll have to see how we talk about it because
It's
spoilers,
it's very huge spoiler, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, with that being
Um,
said, if you want to get started,
oh my God. So yeah, guys, you guys can hear me. I'm here, as always.
no way.
Yeah, no way. Um, I basically did was when Pokemon Journeys first came out, that's how I'm gonna start it off.
Okay.
Back in 2019, I watched like maybe like the first two episodes, then skipped like to episode 12 and then said I hated the whole anime. And I never watched it once throughout the freaking like past 3 years,
Okay, yeah,
basically.
I think we talked about this in one of like the LPs. Was it because of Go?
That and I just didn't like it. I just felt like everything from the start, the way they established everything from the start, I just didn't like it. Like everything just felt like off. I was like, no, I hate this. I don't want to hear anything from these little kids. Like I literally just stopped watching entirely. Like Chloe and Go were the ones that annoyed me, like instantly.
Okay,
From
I
the
got you.
get-go. Yeah, from the get-go. And then like literally, obviously, we came to the conclusion, the part that Ash finally fought against Leon. He won against Leon. I know the last episode finally came out here in the States, though the fight against Leon. For some reason, Cartoon Network got the rights to that one episode of the entire series just to broadcast that last episode. I don't know how or why, just that one episode, but apparently, yeah, it aired not that long ago.
Oh,
Uh,
weird.
yeah, and then it had like the Pokemon theme playing and everything. It was pretty cool. But I caught up. I watched because now on Netflix, the English dub, they put the final part where Ash is gonna fight Leon. Like they haven't gotten that episode, but it's everything leading up to that episode. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay, I got
Um,
you.
I tried to watch it. I watched the episode where, for some random reason, Ash decides, hey, I need to take my Lucario to Kalos so he can meet Greninja, and Greninja can teach it how to like actually concentrate and everything. That whole episode, it was like I literally tried like my hardest not to like cringe or feel all like weird. Like I just couldn't stand it. Like hearing Go talk every single second, like I literally started crying. I literally started crying. I was like, no.
Literally.
Like I felt like crying. I was like, no, dude, like stop. And like he was like, and I'm like, oh my God. And then like Lucario just sucked because literally like Ash is like, Greninja's to your right. And then Lucario would like look to his left, and then like the freaking Greninja would kick him in the face. And then
Okay, I'm gonna say something that's kind of controversial here. Hot take. I've never understood the hype for Lucario.
me neither. I've never understood
Like
it.
when they added Lucario in Brawl, because they didn't like return with Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Since then I've always felt Lucario is just like a Mewtwo ripoff.
Hmm.
Like I don't get it. Like it's supposed to be like okay, it's like Mewtwo, but it's not a legendary, so who cares?
Especially because I think you can find it very common in Gen 3. I think you can literally find it in the wild.
Yeah,
The
like
Relo.
at least with like if we're talking about like Smash Bros, at least Pikachu I get because he's the mascot. Whatchamacallit, Greninja
Jigglypuff.
I get because okay, it's like a water ninja and it's a starter, so I can understand that starter
From the newest game at the
representation.
time, yeah.
Yeah, and then the same thing with Incineroar because okay, it's a fire wrestler.
From the newest game as well, yeah.
Yes, but Lucario, like, it's not even a starter. And it's like a rip off of Mewtwo. 'Cause it's just like, oh, we couldn't get Mewtwo back as a psychic Pokemon, so let's get this other psychic Pokemon.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, why did you guys put it? Because it was from a movie. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I've never understood the hype for Lucario. To me, Lucario just feels like there's so many like psychic Pokemon out there. Like, why that one specifically do people go crazy for? I don't get it.
They could have put like Alakazam or something if they wanted to. And that would have been like it could have done the same moves probably.
Yeah, I don't get it. But the point is that yeah, the Ash's Lucario was just cringe, basically.
Yeah, and then like it was all awkward because like if you guys don't know the English voice actor, and it doesn't even matter, it's not even just like Lucario who can talk. I'm talking about like every single version of Lucario in the English dub. He's voiced by the guy who does Ash's voice. Like it doesn't even matter. Like literally, I've seen all the voice roles. This dude will do Lucario no matter what.
Oh,
It's
weird.
super cringy because literally the only thing he does, obviously, is he just growls and he just makes like the weird like not even dog noises, but he makes the weird noises and it's like so this man stood in a like a, in a freaking room. He's trying his best not to do Goku because that's kind of like the biggest role, and he's basically Lucario's just Goku basically, and literally it's like Goku making dog noises. That's kind of it. And I'm like, that's like all this dude did basically the whole time.
I mean, to be fair, have you watched Phineas and Ferb?
Yeah,
The one dude that all he does is that noise for Perry the Platypus. That's all he does.
yeah, that is true.
So I mean, people have gotten paid for weirder stuff.
Yeah, that is true. And then
Uh,
and it had set up, it's like, to your right, he's right there. And then he like proceeds to like look to the left and then to the right. Then he gets kicked in the face. And like I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, you're like the freaking like forget about like wait, is it because like oh God. Uh Greninja's literally dark and water or something like that, huh? Instead of
uh,
psychic, it's supposed to be dark and water or something like that.
I thought it was psychic water.
No, I remember. I think it was supposed to be Dark Water. I remember
Oh,
seeing
interesting.
because I have Y and I've been playing it lately.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, like it's so weird because it's like you're the psychic Pokemon. Shouldn't you know what how to sense like Pokemon's energy basically? Like, and then
Yeah,
like,
I
dude,
thought that was the Lucario's whole gimmick.
yeah, and then the point is like that's why in the freaking what's it called? Games it even says that like literally Lucario can like sense the people's emotions as well, and a bunch of like, yeah, water or dark. Okay. Um. And basically, it's so dumb because it's like, dude, like, how are you this bad at sensing energy? Like, I don't know, man. It was cringy. Then, like, freaking, there was these like, weird tentacle
I mean,
plant
if
things
anything,
coming out.
though, isn't that kind of just like you being nitpicky, though?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of something just you being nitpicky. Like, oh, I don't like this one specific Pokemon. So the episode I watched had that Pokemon, and so I'm gonna complain about it. I mean, did you try to watch other episodes that
No,
didn't
that
have
was actually
Lucario?
that was like the only episode I watched that one time. Um, but what I was gonna get to is that it's really weird because for some reason they arrive in Kalos. And for some reason, there's no explanation. That's what I'm getting at. There's no explanation behind this. There's nothing. For some reason, the forest is alive or some weird thing because basically this weird tentacle like branch things just come out of nowhere for no reason. And throughout the whole episode, they're just fighting them. Like there's no explanation. They don't say it's like a Pokemon or that the forests are haunted or anything. It's like the forest just comes to life randomly and tries to attack them.
Just weird magic.
Yeah, and then like the CGI for like the twigs and everything, it's like really slow and it's like just like it looks all awkward when they're trying to attack it. It looks really
Oh,
weird.
weird.
And then like yeah, and then Go like I don't know like his voice sounds like it's breaking randomly. Then like I don't know he kind of looks like he's gonna hurt Ash any second. I don't know. It was kind of creepy and made me almost cry. Um, Chloe appeared at the very beginning, but like thankfully she didn't get annoying or anything. She was just kind of there for like 2 seconds, and then it was just Ash and Go again. But
What you're
yeah,
saying is that you didn't enjoy Journeys.
yeah.
You didn't enjoy it back then. You try to catch up now, watch the dubbed. Didn't enjoy it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Journeys to me, it's just I don't know. Like first of all, Go is probably like man, if I really did not like Iris and Cillian, whatever his name is, if I did not like them, I probably dislike Go even more.
Yeah.
he's like my least favorite partner, and then they would probably be like second.
Yeah.
I just do not like 𝐤 because he's like so cocky from the beginning for like it has nothing to show for it,
Yeah, he doesn't say like,
and
"Oh, I'm
then
gonna catch them all," or like something like
yeah,
that.
and then he's like so mean to a starter at the beginning for like no reason.
Yeah,
Like he's such a dick for no
I
reason. He's
remember that.
always
I
really
remember that.
cocky.
Yeah.
And yeah, his voice is annoying. I agree. I think it's annoying both in English, and Japanese. I think his voice is
Hmm.
annoying. Um, and then yeah, just Journeys is just so weird too because they try to make it this big, worldwide tour thing. But like sometimes it's really awkward. Where like I kind of get what you mean. Like I haven't seen that one you're talking about where like there's random magic. But I remember there was an episode where it's like randomly like it's about these Magikarp and we have to like train them to jump and
Yeah, that
like
was
out
so
of
weird.
nowhere, yeah, they like the Magikarp. They like it jumps to like the sky and like never comes down, or it comes down like an episode later. And it's like weird stuff like that where it's like that, like not saying that the world of Pokemon can't be like goofy or like it can't be like weird, but it felt like it broke its own rules a lot in Journeys, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole thing where they introduce like Chloe and she's supposed to be like the other protagonist or whatever, but like, for like the longest time she doesn't even get to do anything,
Hmm.
which I thought was like really weird. Like for the longest time, I think it's like for the first like full like season, she doesn't do anything. It's not until like the second season, like Journey's Masters or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was just so much stuff with Journeys that was just so weird. I didn't really like it. Like I know what you mean. The structure just felt really off, and like I don't know. I didn't enjoy it either. So I
And
don't
then
blame you
like,
for not liking it.
and in the way they just casually go to different regions, like there's like a time skip type of thing. It's so weird because it's like I'm like, oh yes, Ash suddenly has enough money or has like a freaking whole funding to travel to different regions out of nowhere. And he could have, and like he just casually decides to go to different regions randomly. Like literally, he'll be like, wait a minute, my Lucario sucks ass. What should I do, guys? Oh, I know, I should go back to Kalos. Goes to Kalos like a second later. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's kind of what bothered me too about the fact that they could go anywhere now. It felt very like not fan fictiony, but it felt very like I said, like the rules didn't matter anymore. Where it's like,
mhm,
oh, if tomorrow we decide that like, oh man, we want to like, yeah, like, oh man, I need to like train my Lucario, we'll just head to like this totally different region just tomorrow. Why not?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was so random. And he like arrives in freaking Kalos, and then they just skip to them being in a forest. And like I said, the forest attacks them for some reason. And I'm like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not liking Journeys. I never liked it either. Some people were like, "Oh, it's so good," especially after Sun and Moon. That was so slice of life or whatever. They didn't like
No,
it.
Slice
I'm
of
like,
Sun
"Oh,
and Moon,
hell
I
no."
loved it. Sun and Moon, I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. Like Journeys was just, I just don't like
Yeah.
Journeys. Yeah,
The best part was when it ended. I'm sorry,
yeah,
this gets up.
basically, right?
Yeah, basically.
All right, cool, cool, cool. What else did you do?
Um, then the other thing I did was I watched an anime, which we did mention that, we were gonna try to like keep it on a low profile since it was like very spoily.
Oh, this one. Okay, I thought maybe you had
Yeah,
some other stuff
no,
before we got
no,
to
no,
this
no, no,
one.
no.
Oh, okay,
That
gotcha,
was
gotcha.
literally it. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, cool, cool,
Uh,
cool. So yeah, I'm trying to think of how we can phrase this one. I also watched it. I think how much we can say about it before, like, because it's very spoilery for real. It's like, and it feels like the more you go in blind, the better it is too, right?
hmm
Okay, how about we start here? So we both watched it. You watched it. I watched it. It's called Oshi no Ko, which I think translates into stuff like my star or my idol, stuff like that. Although they've never really used an English title. You know how some of them use an
hmm
English title a lot. For this one, they mostly just use the Japanese title, which is very different. I guess the place I heard about it, I don't know how you heard about it. I heard about it because it is based on a manga that is written by the same mangaka who did Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Yeah.
So it's that same author. Actually, for this one, I think for this one he might not be the author. I think no, I think he's the author, but he's not the artist, I think is the difference for this one.
Mm.
Something like that. The point is, it's still like the same guy is still the one behind it. But yeah, I think this time he's not the artist. He's just the writer's the difference. While for Love is War, I think he did both.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, the point is that's where I had heard about it. I had heard that, oh, his next project is really good, really intriguing. And even though it hasn't been around for very long, it's like, oh, snaps, it's already going to get an anime adaptation. So that's where I had heard
Hmm.
about it. That's what intrigued me. I don't know about you. Did you know about all that, or did you just hear that it was hype, or like what made you want to watch it?
Basically, like for some reason, it just became a meme out of nowhere. People started like posting certain memes about certain stuff. Then later, I found out exactly what you just mentioned, that it was made by
Oh,
the
okay.
same person who made Love is War. Then I saw a summary of like the first two episodes, and I was very intrigued. I'm like, you know what? I want to watch this.
Gotcha,
I saw
gotcha.
the first two episodes, they were pretty long. The second one's a way short. It's like half an hour. But like I got kind of lazy to like actually watch on my own. Plus I already know the first two episodes. So like
Yeah.
yeah, let's skip to the third one.
Yeah, because
Caught up pretty easily.
some anime now, I think that's like a new thing they've been doing, where sometimes their like beginning will be like their beginning will be like really long.
It'll be like a movie basically, yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, every episode will be like normal,
Hmm.
like 20 minutes or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so for me, then that means I watched it because I kind of knew about the person behind it. For you, you kind of watched it because of like the hype and like the memes and stuff. Then,
And the fact that people were saying it was really good and other stuff too.
okay, cool. Okay, so to kind of like I said, it's kind of hard because I feel like you really need to watch it blind. The more blind you watch it, the better. The more spoiler free, the better. So just to give like
Hmm.
a quick little just like synopsis, I'm really trying to find how to word it, and hopefully people will be intrigued. And then I mean, it's supposed to be 11 episodes, is what I'm seeing right here. When it's all come out, maybe we can talk about our thoughts on it, and then talk about like spoilers and stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
But for now, hopefully people watch it. Like we said, trust us. It's really interesting, really good. This guy who made Love is War, he definitely seems like he's pretty creative. He came up with another story that's very interesting, so good for him. And I guess to kind of the synopsis. So it says right here, 16-year-old Ai Hoshino is a talented and beautiful idol who is adored by her fans. She is the personification of a pure young maiden, but all that glitters is not gold. Garu Ame, Garu Ame, Amemaya. I don't know how some words, some last names are just weird. I think it's Amemaya. I think that's how you would say it. Garu Amemaya is a countryside gynecologist and a big fan of Ai. So when the pregnant idol shows up at his hospital, he is beyond bewildered. Garo promises her a safe delivery. I'll read the next line too, and that's where we'll stop. Little does he know, an encounter with a mysterious figure would result in his untimely death, or so he thought.
Dun dun dun.
So that's where we'll stop. I'll leave it right there. I might have already said too much, hopefully not. But yes, basically the whole point is that it is about this idol that she gets pregnant, and this gynecologist who's a fan of hers is going to help her deliver the baby. And as he's helping her deliver the baby, he gets killed. He dies. And from here, you have to watch it because there are more twists. There's more stuff you wouldn't expect. But the best way to explain it is that it's a pretty interesting look, I would say, at the entertainment
In
and
industry and stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
idol industry. Because everybody
Hmm.
knows that the idol industry in Japan is crazy. Like,
It really is,
and
yeah.
that's kind of what they touch upon here. Like basically, oh no, if you're an idol, you're not even allowed to like date because that'll ruin
Hmm.
the fans' image of they can
Hmm.
get with you and like you're accessible, which is like so stupid. Like that was one of those
Dude,
things where like the fans need to touch grass, man. Just
they
because the
really do,
freaking
yeah.
singer girl is dating somebody, like you're not gonna get with her anyway. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
get with her anyway. So like shut up. Like if she's dating, just be happy for her. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's so stupid. But like no, she has to be single. She has to pretend that she doesn't even like know what like any romances or anything because no, get it? She might fall in love with you. Like it's so
Yeah.
stupid. Like the fact that they run the industry like this is so bad. Like if one of them gets
Yeah.
married or is in a relationship and it gets found out, I mean, it was an example where like the girl had to like shave her head and like apologize on camera and stuff. It was ridiculous.
I was just say, I know, for example, like even yeah, actresses as well, like yeah, just entertainment industry with like very beautiful women and stuff. Like I know like the voice actress for what's her name from Demon Slayer, she
Mm.
literally did what she was like, yeah, I have a boyfriend, this and that. She like posted him online, and they were all crying in the comments saying that supposedly she betrayed them, and that this and that, and that basically like how can their love ever do something like that to them, and that they hurt them. And then I think she even replied back, not even like in Japanese, I think it was in English. She even told them to like F off, basically. Like I like literally like it got really bad.
I
Where they
mean,
were
good.
saying,
I hope they start standing up for themselves because it's just so ridiculous, dude. These are people in the entertainment industry. They're not going to notice you anyway. So like, it's so stupid. Like, you don't have to get with somebody to freaking like them either. You know what I mean? Like, it's
hmm
so dumb. Like, think about how many like freaking people in Hollywood are already married or in a relationship, and people just like them because they like them. You know, that doesn't mean they're like, oh my god,
I
it's because I
definitely need
have
to
a
marry
shot
them.
with them.
Yeah, it's like, dude, no, you don't. I'm sorry to tell you, but you don't. Like,
God. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what kind of is touching upon here, and it feels like it's kind of criticizing it because definitely the fact that this idol is pregnant, yeah, you kind of see how people start to like criticize her and like the problems that come from that. And
hmm
that's what, yeah, like I said, it makes it interesting because this anime really looks into the dark side of the entertainment industry and the idol industry and just showbiz in general. And
hmm
I wish I could say more. There's like so much more that happens and stuff, but like that, if that intrigues
It's really
you,
spoiled. Yeah,
yeah, all you really know is that it is kind of like a murder mystery criticism of the idol industry. It looks into all that dark stuff and like has
it
a lot
goes
of twists
deep.
and turns and stuff. And I don't know. Hopefully that intrigues you guys. I mean, if you know that's written by someone who made like a really good work before, hopefully that also intrigues you guys because you know that the manga is really good at how he writes characters and their development and he kind of turns stuff on its head, like the way he did like the whole rom-com thing on its head and stuff. So hopefully that intrigues you guys. But it's just like I said, the more blind in you go blind, the better. And I mean, hopefully when it's all done, we can have like a spoiler thing on it because it's just
So we can like
pretty
really talk about it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Once
hmm
again, it is called Oshi no Ko, also known as like my star or my idol. And hopefully you guys check it out. And I believe it is on. Oh yeah, this is one of those weird ones. It's actually on High Dive. So if it being such a big one, you think it would be on Crunchyroll, but it's
Nope,
actually on
everything's
High
on.
Dive.
Yeah, everything's on High Dive nowadays. Urise's on High Dive. That anime 𝐦𝐤 made is on High Dive. Everything's on High
Shut
Dive
up.
now.
Oh god. Oh god. All right, now transferring over to my week. My week's pretty short. I mean, besides the stuff I talked about at the beginning and all that stuff that happened,
Yeah.
there are two things that I watched. They'll be pretty brief. The first thing is that I am continuing to watch Pokemon Horizons. Really wanted to keep watching, at least to get to the part where they finally introduce Roy. Because in the first three episodes, they did not introduce Roy. He's supposed to be like their main character. So I'm like, where is Roy? Finally, even though they still have not explained to this little girl, 𝐿𝐿𝐼, what is happening, which that part still pisses me off. Like every time that she's like, what's happening, Frey just go, oh, I haven't told you yet, huh?
Ha, ha, ha,
Anyway,
ha.
moving on. And doesn't tell her. It's like the stupidest
Yeah,
thing.
that sounds very weird. Yeah.
Oh god, so stupid. But anyway, at least moving on. In this episode, they finally introduced Roy. Basically, they said that because their airship got damaged from the last episode where they were fighting that evil crew, they
Yeah.
needed to make kind of like an emergency landing. And so they land in a little island near Kanto.
Yeah.
And in this little island near Kanto, there's a lot of wild Pokemon. There's like a big forest and stuff, and like a big beach and stuff. But apparently, we meet this boy named Roy. That apparently it's a small island that there's not really any trainers or anything on it. It's just like older folks and stuff like that. So this poor boy named Roy that wants to be a trainer, he doesn't have anyone to teach him how to be a Pokemon trainer, unfortunately. And so
Damn.
where the stories kind of cross or whatever is that when they land, the airship with they're called like the Rising Volunteers or whatever. That's a Japanese name because I think it has to do with like Pikachu's Vault Tackle. So I don't know how it work in English.
Yeah.
But the point is, they land their airship, and as Freed goes, he's going to talk to like, the village elder for parts, or I don't know what he was going to talk to him about. Everyone's just hanging out. They're trying to fix the ship, whatever. And they had a little Coco.
Yeah.
And the little Coco, as he's really funny. He's just like really like spunky. He's really cute. He's really like just kind of clumsy and stuff. And like I don't know, I really like him. He's really fun. And the point is that at some point he's messing around like on the deck and he falls overboard.
Yeah.
And so he ends up on the beach. And then that's where after he falls on the beach, he starts wandering around and he finds like a whole stash of berries and eats all of them. And he's exploring the island and he stops like on a little cliff to sing because 𝐿𝐼 had asked someone about like the Fuecoco and it's singing. And they say like, oh yeah, Fuecoco loves to sing, but if it sees anyone's like listening to it, it gets shy and runs away. And so at some point, Liko notices it's missing, and she sees the scratch marks that it fell off deck or whatever into the beach. So
Yeah.
she and her Sprigatito are gonna go look for it. And Coco's wandering around and it's singing, and that's when Roy meets it. And Roy, first he kind of scares it, and they fall down a cliff, blah blah. He saves it, but then from there they start to bond. And yeah, it's really cute because like right away you can tell they really like each other. When he asks Coco to sing for him and not to be shy, it sings and they sing together, blah blah blah. So they start to bond, and then we kind of learn that Roy, like I said, since he has no one to really teach him how to be a trainer, he apparently using his like Rotom phone, he connects kind of like through Zoom. He connects with like a bunch of other like kids around the world, and all the kids are like, "Oh, I caught like a Pokemon today," or like, "I had my first battle against like a wild Pokemon," blah blah. And he's like, saying like, "Oh, I wish I had like a starter," this and that. So it shows that he kind of like talks to other kids like around the world, to kind of stay in touch about like Pokemon
Yeah.
stuff. He also likes to watch that mascot they've shown that has like the
In the
Pokemon
first
videos.
episode, yeah.
Yeah, he likes to watch that like person like in the Pokemon costume. So that's kind of what he does. He kind of goes into the woods by himself. He watches the videos. He hangs out. He just whatever. And yeah, basically Liko gets attacked by a bunch of wild Pokemon, and he helps her escape. And he's pretty cool because he like knows his way around like the jungle and stuff. He knows how to like use a rock to like bounce off trees to like distract Pokemon and run away. And I don't know, he seems like he's a pretty cool kid. He seems like he's really resourceful and stuff. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
definitely right away he bonds with the Fuecoco. So it seems like he's like a really nice, like Pokemon lover at heart. He seems like he's pretty cool.
That's
And
super
yeah,
cool.
basically he saves Liko, and when they're both getting attacked by a bunch of Pokemon, Captain Frayed comes in, and it's because they noticed that it's because Fuecoco had eaten all the berries I told you earlier. So they
Yeah.
basically calm the Pokemon down, collect a bunch of food for them, and then Liko says basically goodbye to Roy. And
Yeah.
she's kind of sad because her pendant like lit up at one point when she was near him. She was wondering what the deal is with that. Oh, and I forgot that he showed that, yeah, one day on the beach he found like this what looks like a Pokeball, but it's ancient. And he says that they've never been able to
That's
open it to
weird.
see what's in it. And so it kind of ends there where, he's kind of sad because he's back at home, and he's kind of, sad because you could tell like he kind of wanted to go with them to be a Pokemon trainer. And we don't
Yeah.
know though, because right now they are still trying to repair their ship. So who knows? Maybe that's what's going to happen in the next episode. Maybe there's some reason that he will go with them. So,
Yeah. Yo, it's the GS ball.
nah, because the GS ball, was just like a regular Pokeball, but yellow. This one looks like more like mechanical.
No, it's definitely the GS ball. I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Just because I say
Um,
so.
right. But yeah, but I liked Roy. He seems like a pretty nice kid. He seems like a really cool character. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I like both the kids so far. I think Liko's pretty cool. I think Roy's pretty cool. Like so far, I like both of them. They seem like pretty cool kids, and they're definitely different from Ash. Maybe
That's a
maybe
good thing.
Roy may reminds me a little bit more of Ash, but I like that Ash was very like hot headed and stubborn, and neither of these kids is really like that, which is like it's different because
That
Ash
I
could be a little annoying. He was like, "Oh, I'm so cool" or whatever. It's like Ash, shut up.
especially at the beginning, because that's the thing I'm liking that here it's such a difference that like the way Ash is portrayed and then the way these kids are portrayed are portrayals of what you could see a 10-year-old kind of acting like, honestly. Because Ash is kind of like the annoying 10-year-old that you run into in like middle school. That he's always like, yeah, I'm better than you, dude. Or like, oh, I'm gonna be like this and blah blah. And they're like really like cocky and stuff. Ash was like really cocky from like
Which
the
is
moment
so
we
weird because then you have Gary who's even more cocky.
yeah, so like the point is like there's like the annoying side of like the 10-year-olds
Yeah,
where they're
yeah.
always like really like cocky or they're always hot-headed, stuff like that, stubborn. And then there's like Liko and Roy where they're like both like the calmer kids and they're like, yeah, like I can't wait for this, or like this is my favorite thing, guys, or I like watching YouTube and I like watching like so and so. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh well
basically.
that's what it kind of feels that it's kind of cool that it really is a contrast between like what you would see a 10-year-old acting like, that there's those 10-year-olds that act really annoying and stuff and they're really dumb and really like again annoying, and then there's the other ones that are like really smart, they're not annoying, and they're just trying to do their stuff, they're just having fun and stuff, and
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
like
pretty
both of them
cool.
so far. They're pretty likable characters so far, I think.
Yeah,
So
they seem pretty cool.
yeah. And that was basically it. It was just an introduction to Roy. It was pretty low stakes, so that was basically it. But yeah, I'm enjoying the new series so far, and I'm excited to see where these characters go. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the other thing that I watched that's not anime, but it's pretty interesting. I still think it's worth talking about. Is that I have continued to watch Mike Judd's Beavis and Butthead, like the
Yeah, yeah.
revival reboot, whatever you
Hmm.
call it.
Yeah.
Because basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Beavis and Butthead was that show was very popular during the 90s. Then they tried to do a revival in like 2011 on MTV, but because MTV is so different now, it just didn't work.
Hmm.
MTV is just like, I don't even know why that channel's still around. It's just so
Oh
cringe now.
yeah. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
remember checking it, and then there was like a weird music video, and I think it was like Kevin Hart was like at the store, and everyone just kept looking at him for no
Well, I
reason.
mean
I
that
think.
part's fine, but I'm just saying like the fact that it's all like reality TV shows and stuff now. I
Oh
think the
yeah,
only thing
yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah, it's the only thing that exists on there now. You try to do anything else like comedy or like animation, it just doesn't work anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was kind of disappointing, because I thought the revival was pretty fun. It was fun seeing them make fun of stuff like,
Like
16 and
Twilight.
pregnant or yeah, Twilight. Well, that was one of the episodes, but I mean like the commentary. I thought it was
Oh
fun
yeah,
seeing
yeah,
them
yeah.
make fun of like 16 and pregnant and Jersey Shore and stuff. But it didn't
Yeah.
last. But then, fast forward to like what was it, like 2021, no, 2022, something like that. And they had the Beavis and Butthead second movie. And the second movie was pretty fun, was a good way to explain why they're in like the our world, like current day now, but they're still
21st
teenagers or
century.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool how they did that. And then after that, last year they had a first season, and this year they started the second season, and it's pretty cool because basically it's them, Beavis and Butthead. They've been transported from the 90s. They are in our present day, and so they're still having their crazy adventures, but now there's like more tech around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they
yeah,
sit around and they watch, stuff from like YouTube and comment on it. And they talk about challenges and stuff like that, and they make fun of them. And I don't know, I really like it. I think that they still did a good job, or even though it's like more like updated, it still feels like them. The stuff they make fun of is still pretty good. I think the jokes are still pretty well done. Like I've really enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so the second season just started. There's been like 4 episodes, like 5 episodes, something like that. And I like it. Like I said, even though, oh, and that's the other thing. The other thing that's really special, not only is it like them in present day now, which is, I think they did a pretty good job of it, but now, because there was like a plot in the movie about like an alternate universe where like they did age so that in our current day they would be like in their 40s or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, even older. I don't remember. But the point is, they're old now, and so there's some episodes where it'll switch between like there's like let's say like because usually like one episode is like 2 parts, right? It's a two-parter.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
first
yeah.
part will be like, oh, it's a segment with them being young, and like the second part will be them old, and so they've done a bunch of episodes of them as like old guys, and like the dumb stuff they run into still.
That's pretty cool. That
And
sounds
those have
lit.
also been pretty fun. Like there was one where like I don't know. It's like they're old and they're lazy. Butthead's all fat. He walks with like a cane. Beavis is all skinny and he like vapes and they both drink, of course. And um they run out of money. So freaking Beavis says he's gonna go get some what do you call it? Like welfare or whatever. But
Yeah,
then he tries to get money and tell him no because he already used it all up. So he said they're gonna give him like a job helping like a person that's less fortunate than him. And when he goes to
yeah.
the address, it's Butthead. And Butthead's like freaking what do you call it? Like bossing him around and stuff. And it's just like so stupid. But it works so well seeing them old. It works so well. So it's kind of fun that now we have segments of them like as teenagers and we have like segments of them as adults. And they're both like really good because like they're just as dumb as they were as kids as adults. So it works really well.
That's pretty cool. I need to catch up on both of them because I saw like the one from season one where it was when they tried to use the AR headset at
Oh
the
yeah,
mall. Yeah, and
that's
then like
stupid.
they started saying like, "Oh, these graphics are so realistic." It was literally them in the mall, still in the mall, and then they were like poking things and trying to shoot everyone, and it wasn't working because I think like didn't they like disconnect? Didn't they like? Oh no, they grabbed glasses from a freaking like rack
Yeah,
and
they
they put
thought
them
they thought it
on.
was VR, exactly.
They thought it was
Yeah.
the AR ones, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it looks so great," and like, "Where's the guns at?" And it was all stupid. It's like, dude,
Yeah, it was great.
yeah, I need to catch up. I need to catch up a lot because I've seen the original one. I saw the 2011 one, but yeah, I definitely need to see this new one.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty good. I feel like I feel like he Mike Judd and all his people who are like writing the show, like they still got it, it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
yeah,
that.
the movie was pretty good when
Yeah,
it
the movie was
those.
really funny too. I
Yeah,
really
it
liked
was
the
pretty
movie. It
funny.
was pretty funny,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, that's it for my week though. It was just those two things. Well, three if I count the one that we have some overlap.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's it for my week. So it was kind of like a shorter week, but I don't know. I still think I really made up with it, especially with that anime, man. That one, Oshi no Ko. It's pretty interesting. I feel like
Yeah,
that's gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
one of those. Maybe it might be anime of the season or year or whatever. We'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty interesting.
yeah. Jumping over to the news stories should be pretty short, honestly, because they're mostly kind of just announcements of stuff. They're like little milestones, two of them. Then the third one will be a little bit longer. You guys will see what I mean in a moment. But the first one, I just wanted to put it out there, as the title of the article states, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is expected to cross $1 billion at the worldwide box office later today. And that article was from she was from earlier today. Okay. It was from earlier today as of us recording this. But by the time you guys watch it, it'll be like a couple of days old. But yeah, basically, the ways I want to share that is that, man, it's so crazy. Remembering when the movie first got announced, we didn't know anything about it. We were wondering, man, could it be that it's so bad? Remember those people saying, like, maybe it's so bad. That's what they're like embarrassed to even like say anything about it and everything. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to think of people wondering, like, will it work? Will it not? Will people like it? Will they not like it? Like all that speculation, all of those, like, conspiracies about maybe it's not being good and maybe it got restarted, like all this stuff. And fast forward to now and just seeing that it's doing so good and people like it. And that, there's even like a thing where I think Miyamoto said, like, oh, for sure, we're going to make more movies because this one did so well. Like, it's so
Hmm.
crazy to like look at like what everybody thought versus like what actually ended up happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting story. You guys can read it. And yeah, not only that, but apparently the movie's also broken all sorts of records, for like when it released and how much money it made and for being an animated movie and a video game movie, etc. So good for the movie. That's pretty cool. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to see what else they make in the future. So, there you go.
Yeah, same, honestly.
All right, and the next one is kind of similar, where it's another kind of announcement of like a milestone that these people hit. So, as the title of this article states, it says NieR Automata game crosses 7.5 million in shipments down, and I mean it says comma downloads, so shipments and downloads, I guess. But that's pretty cool. 7.5 million is nothing to scoff at. Like any game that makes, I mean, usually over a million is already pretty good, right? I think
Hmm.
yeah, so the fact that it's made 7.5 million is like really good. And I guess the reason I want to point this one out is because as I was kind of telling you off camera, it's so crazy because at one point, I know that, Platinum, the people who have made this game, they talked about it, that they want to make this game called Scalebound. That was the game they were going to make with Microsoft. And when it got canceled, like it almost like ruined them because it was such a big project they had really like put so much effort into. And then when Microsoft just like said nah and canceled it, it like really almost ruined them. And so this game, NieR Automata, like it really saved that company. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy that like yeah, basically the guy Yoko Taro who he's been in charge of this series, NieR and the Drakengard series. The thing with him is that he's always had good ideas, but he's not really good at like the gameplay side of things. Like his games are always kind of clunky. So it was like a
Mm.
match made in heaven when basically this guy who has these great ideas for story teamed up with this studio that's great at making, combat. That's why they made, Metal Gear Revengeance and like Bayonetta and stuff. And when, together they made this game that, like I said, basically saved Platinum. And it's so crazy to see that, yeah, NieR Automata, has been like really beloved by a lot of people and it's sold really well. And that helps that they could remake the original NieR. And like that seems to have done pretty good. I mean, there's a NieR Automata anime now. And like, I don't know, it's just so crazy to see how this one project like really like turned things around for like this franchise and like, for this company.
Hmm.
The other thing that kind of sucks is that I know that after that, though, unfortunately, Platinum did make like a live service game that did terribly. I think it was called like Babylon's Fall or something like that. Like no one played that game. It got like it went like it did like really bad. It was like a live service game. And I know after that, they also made Bayonetta 3, which is also like really like divisive. So I
Hmm.
am kind of worried about that. Oh man, it's like I know they had some like bad, bumps in the road. So I hope Platinum's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, they recovered this time. I mean, if anything's bad, hopefully they can find a way to like recover again. But I mean, I'm hoping they're doing all right, is I guess what I'm saying. But
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of this story, I just thought it was interesting and I just want to share it because, like I said, it's just kind of crazy that this game has done so well. And it's like, that's really cool to be a part of that. Someone who bought a few copies of this game, I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
And the last news story, this is a really, really weird one. I know it's been really widespread. A few people have covered it. I know I was talking to you and you're like, oh yeah, I saw that like this YouTuber and that YouTuber, they talked about it. But basically, as the title of the article states, it says Wizards of the Coast raids YouTuber's house to take back Magic the Gathering cards. Even better though, if you read the little like subtitle, it says a Magic the Gathering YouTuber found Pinkerton agents at his front door on Saturday morning.
Huh.
So this story is wild. I'm not going to get too into it because there's people who can explain it way better if you watch their videos and you can read the article. But just to give you guys a summary though, for anyone who doesn't know, the Pinkertons are like this private like investigation agency. I'm actually trying to like just Google them really quick so I can give like the proper, background to them. Yeah, it says right here, American Private Security Guard and Detective Agency. They have been around since
1850.
1850.
Yeah.
So they are like a old ass detective agency. They've been around for a long time. I know that if you play Red Dead Redemption 2, for instance, they come out, they have like a really big part. They're basically like antagonists, you know what I mean? Like they're pretty crazy. And I know there was another movie too where after someone did something, they invited the person to be a part of the Pinkertons. I remember that. That was like a more positive, you can say, look at them, where there was like some movie and then like they kind of tell the guy,
Yeah, I think
oh
I have a feeling what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and they like told me, oh, it would be like an honor if you joined us or whatever. That was like a more positive portrayal, but then like the one in Red Dead Redemption was more of like a negative portrayal.
Hmm.
But anyway, the point is, yeah, they're like this hardcore private detective
Organization.
agency.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like the kind of guys that they like, man, dudes show up and they're like, it almost feels like the mafia rolls up on you because they're like really like intimidating and stuff, really well trained, really crazy. And the reason this story is so crazy is because, yeah, so apparently there's this guy, he's a YouTuber that likes to do like unboxings of Magic the Gathering cards. And basically what happened is that he ordered a box set from whoever he gets his stuff from. And the guy who sold it to him made a mistake. That instead of giving him, a pack, box collection that was already out, he ended up somehow giving him like a deluxe edition that was going to release like a month later or something like that.
Yeah.
And this guy didn't really know. So he kind of just took it home, opened it up, and was like, oh, I guess this is like a special edition or whatever. I don't really know how in depth he goes into explaining that, like, oh, this shouldn't be out yet. But the point is, he opened it, didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And freaking Wizards of the Coast, which they're already in trouble for a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and like they've had a lot of controversy lately. Instead of just talking to the guy or like sitting down and like calling him and being like, yo, can you please like private that video? Can we talk it out? They send this guys, the Pinkertons, to basically rough up this guy and threaten him and take like his stuff or whatever, and like scare his wife and a bunch of stuff. And it's like, why? It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah. They went too far. It was too extreme.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
they
if I
could have
had an
gotten the
issue,
FBI involved. They could have just had the FBI get
but
involved.
even
And
then, it's not even that serious. They didn't have to do
exactly, dude. Like
that.
the point is that yeah, they like I'm telling you, even if it was like some not even the FBI, yeah, they went a little too kind of like because like even the guy probably just thought, oh, cool, it's a deluxe edition, whatever. But like
Yeah, it's like if I had an issue with you, and instead of like calling like the police or taking you to court, it's like, oh
you get the
man,
cartel.
yeah, it's like, oh man, I really need to like intimidate Legend of Jonathan, so I call like the local cartel to go like scare him. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, just talk it out with them, or like talk to the damn police. Don't just send like this private third party to go rough them up or whatever. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, that's too. Yeah,
Oh
that's
man,
pretty
yeah. And if you like
weird.
I said, if you watch some of the videos by some of these YouTubers, they say that like the guy's been really polite about it. He's been kind of very nice
Hmm.
about everything. And Wizards of the Coast, they seem like they've been very like, oh, like now they're like, we're so sorry. And I don't think they apologize. I think they've been very like polite too. And they're like, it's probably because they know that they screwed it up, and they're hoping that the guy won't think too much about it and like sue them because he could totally sue them for what they did probably.
They definitely, he definitely could do that to them.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like I said, this is not like the first controversy for Wizards of the Coast. They also had some like dumb
Definitely,
stuff with
yeah.
like Dungeons and Dragons. Like this company's just like totally screwing up. We're gonna have to see what happens with them because they're like, you know, mistake after mistake. They're just being really dumb. So,
Yeah.
all right, and funny enough, that actually brings us to the end of our news because, like I said, it's actually pretty short news week. It was just like some announcement stuff, some milestones. So there you go. All right, so that brings us to our last segment, which is one that I was kind of excited to talk about. As I was sitting in my holding cell in a Mexican prison, it made
Yeah.
me think about prison, and it made me think about prison anime. And I thought, what would be a good anime to talk about for this week? One that has to do with kind of like a prison setting. I was thinking about talking about prison school, but like, nah, it's not the time for that. Not yet. So instead, the one I'm going to talk about that I think a few people have watched. If you guys have not watched it, I recommend it. It is called Deadman Wonderland.
Oh yeah, this one's a weird one.
It is pretty weird. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird one.
So basically, Deadman Wonderland is this really interesting anime. It's an anime and manga, of course. And basically, I'm trying to look up where like the characters are at, so I can like read. I always like to like name the characters, right? Well, I'll go back. Hold on. All right. So basically, the point is that it's a really weird, like dystopian post-apocalyptic future where when you start, it's already kind of like weird. Where apparently there's been like this earthquake and it's destroyed a bunch of like Tokyo. So Tokyo's like barely hanging on. And in this future, in order to like take care of like, like the prison system, instead, if you get like, sent to prison, you get sentenced to death at Deadman Wonderland, which is a prison slash theme park, which is really weird.
Yeah.
So it's like a really strange future. It's basically what I'm trying to get at. And in this world, our main character, his name is Gonta Igarashi, and he's your ordinary ninth grader. Yeah, he's going to middle school slash, I guess first year of high school, whatever. And it says that, he's going to school, whatever, and he's trying to live a normal life. We do kind of get some more information later about how he kind of was involved and he lived through the disaster I mentioned earlier. So there's more to him, obviously, but all we know at first is he's just a normal ninth grader. And basically, he's going to school. He's trying to live a normal life. And all of that changes when this random, weird, like individual dressed in like a weird costume. I don't know how to explain it without like giving too much away. But it shows up and it basically kills his entire classroom.
Yeah.
It murders everybody. And basically, Gonta, since he was the only survivor, he gets put on trial as like the main suspect, and he gets sent to Deadman Wonderland. And at Deadman Wonderland, here I'll kind of read a little bit of the plot thing on Wikipedia. It says, at the prison, Gonta is fitted with a special collar that monitors his location and vital signs. A lethal poison is constantly injected into his bloodstream through the collar, but it can be neutralized by consuming a peculiar candy-like medicine every 3 days, which can be acquired through various activities in the prison, such as performing for audiences, working backstage, and purchasing with cast points, a form of currency among inmates at Deadman Wonderland. So basically, like we said, since it's a prison slash theme park, that's how they get the inmates to perform. That's how they run things. Like, okay, you're in prison, but you don't get to just hang around. We keep pumping you full of this poison, and we don't just, you can either die or, perform for the audience, make us money. And once you eat that candy, it lets you live for another 3 days or whatever. So that's kind of how the system works. And it says, to get cast points, an inmate must participate in the facility's lethal games and survive. Fortunately for Gonta, he is aided by a mysterious albino girl named Shiro, who appears to know Gonta, and Minotsuke Takami, a sadistic girl who was imprisoned for murdering people after her mother neglected to protect her during the earthquake. And it says, while trying to survive as an inmate on death row, Gonta intends to find the Red Man to clear his name. And basically, the Red Man is the one I mentioned earlier that killed like his classmates or whatever. And it says, in a bizarre twist, Gonta develops the ability to manipulate his own blood, eventually becoming able to turn it into a weapon. And it says, unbeknownst to Gonta, he has become one of the prison's dead men, and an isolated group of prisoners following the branches of sin, the capability to control their blood. And it says that he basically gets tied into this thing. It's a gladiatorial death match is known as Carnival Corpse, where basically, so not only is he part of this already carnival / prison, but because he awakens that power, he becomes part of these like underground like death matches where basically everyone who's part of those death matches are able to control their blood in some way and use it as some sort of like a weapon or something. If I remember, he can like bite his finger and he can use it to like make like blood bullets, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, he gets involved in the Carnival Corpse, where I believe the whole point is that you there's like a wheel that gets spun, and then like you have to like put like one of your body parts at stake, and like whoever loses, they lose that body part, I think, or something like that. It's like really crazy.
Oh, that's crazy, yeah.
And yeah, so it's pretty crazy. It has a lot of lore, has a lot of world building, very interesting scene, the world and the rules and the Carnival Corpse, thing. And it's kind of cool too because you see that, as it progresses, other people that have the powers, they're all called Deadman, and they all end up having a code name that has to do with a bird. So Gonta's his is Woodpecker, but then there's other ones like let's see who else is there. I'm trying to remember the other names of the other characters. I'm pretty sure they all had. I'm trying to see. I thought they all had like bird names. I could have sworn. Was that all animal names then? I'm not seeing it here. It's not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the other Deadman. So there's a guy named Crow. There's somebody named Hummingbird, Mockingbird, Peacock, Condor, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, they each have like a nickname based on some sort of bird, and they all have like different powers based on like their blood and stuff, which is really cool.
That's super cool.
So it's a really interesting anime. Very cool. Very gory though. It's very dark.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember that about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting seeing him survive and this girl named Shiro and how she helps him out. Like I said, there's a lot of lore to the show, a lot of world building, a lot of action, etc. The one thing I will say that kind of sucks though, it's one of those anime that the manga was still going,
but the anime never continued.
Exactly. So it only did like the first season, and it even changed up how it ended.
Wow.
So it's one of those where it's like, oh, we need to have like an original ending, I guess, because the manga's still going. And so it gives like an original ending and it kind of just stops there. And so that's the part that's really disappointing.
That sucks.
So it's still worth watching. I still think it's really cool, but just be aware that it's one of those where it's like, never did continue, has an original ending that might be kind of, mixed reception. But at least the manga's always there. At least there's always the hope that maybe someday it could get like a reboot or whatever. I mean, crazier things have happened. We've seen like, especially in recent years, a lot of stuff gets like a lot of, revival or whatever. So,
yeah.
But it's one of the things where who knows. But regardless, though, I still recommend it. I still think that it's worth it just for like the lore and the world building and the characters and the action and stuff. It's just really, really cool. So yeah. So is it the best anime out there? No. Does it unfortunate how it ends and stuff, and it hasn't really continued? Yes. But at least the manga's always there. The anime adaptation's pretty cool. So that's why I recommend it. So it's called Deadman Wonderland. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Alrighty, guys, and that brings us to the end of our podcast for this week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the stuff we talked about. Hopefully, you guys will check some of the stuff out, and we'll try to be back next week, as always, with more stuff. I think there's still maybe like one or two more anime that are new that I want to watch. We'll see how that goes. And what about you? Do you know anything new that you might look into for next week?
I'm not sure actually.
All right, that's fine. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think I have like maybe like one or two more anime I might look into. We'll see. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We'll try our best to be back next week. And we are out. So long. Bye bye.
Bye bye.